Shopify, we believe there's a different way to do e-commerce and enterprise. It doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. It doesn't have to run 9 months over and materially over budget. One of the things that we recently won was Gartner Magic Quadrant, and we were ranked highest in our ability to execute. And execute means on time and on budget.
In a landscape where enterprise retailers are grappling to meet ever-escalating customer expectations and technological advancements, one name stands out as a beacon of innovation and scale. I'm talking about Shopify. And my guest today is Bobby Morrison, and he is the Chief Revenue Officer at Shopify, which is a platform that astonishingly powers more than 10% of US's e-commerce and has processed transactions worth $500 billion. Shopify is not just a platform, but an ecosystem that is actively pushing the boundaries in everything from AI to headless commerce. And I want to learn more about the technology that makes all of this possible. And for me, what's groundbreaking here is Shopify's approach to giving enterprise retailers unprecedented control over their brand identity, over their customer relationships and data, all while boasting a globally scaled infrastructure with over 150 network edge points. That's more than enough to set off my tech spidey senses. And recently, they've also opened their accelerated checkout system, ShopPay, to enterprise retailers who aren't even on the Shopify platform. So we're going to dive into the details of this groundbreaking move, what it means for the future of retail, and we'll also explore how Shopify is solving some of the most significant pain points in enterprise retail, and why customization and scale are becoming critical differentiators and the tech that makes it all possible. So buckle up and hold on tight, because today, no matter where you're listening in the world, it's time for me to beam your ears all the way to Houston, Texas, where Bobby is waiting to talk with us today. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Bobby. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Bobby Morrison. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here at Shopify. And my responsibility is to help strengthen and grow Shopify's commercial capabilities. You know, Shopify is well known for its engineering and product development. My goal is to build the same level of maturity and go-to-market on the commercial side.
Well, it's a huge pleasure to have you on the podcast. Yeah, and Shopify has been on somewhat of a journey and has evolved from a platform mainly for SMBs to one that caters to enterprise-level retailers too. So can you tell me a little bit about the key milestones in this journey and what it takes for an enterprise-level retailer to adopt Shopify successfully for anybody that could be listening today?
Yeah, absolutely. Shopify is built on components, and it's something that has really allowed us to build the most powerful retail platform in the world. And, we spent the last 2 decades really optimizing the infrastructure. Today, we power about 10% of all of e-commerce in North America, as an example. And we've taken that innovation and compounded on top of it what retailers are continuing to tell us are most important to them. So over those 2 decades, we started helping entrepreneurs live out their dreams and start their businesses. And as those businesses grew, their needs changed. So we have some pretty big retailers, Gymshark, Zara, FC Barcelona, many of them that maybe started with us early in their journey, who had grown into billion-dollar brands. And at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure we were building and meeting those requirements. That's really allowed us to take those same components that power the volume that I just talked about and break them into sections and make them uniquely useful for enterprise. So we offer 3 different flavors of our platform to enterprise customers, and we believe choice is the primary driver for their consideration. One is a full stack offering that is really built and optimized for performance. The next is headless. So for those that require some level of customization, we give them the ability to do that. And we've launched a composable stack, really taking the components that I talked about before and giving really the power to innovate and completely control every aspect of the customer experience that enterprises are looking to enable. We do that as well. So whatever an enterprise needs, we have all 3 of those options available to them, and we use them all interchangeably.
And your recent move to make ShopPay available to enterprise retailers that are not on Shopify It's fascinating to me. So I'm curious, there's got to be a story there. What inspired that decision, and what kind of impact do you anticipate that this will have on the broader e-commerce landscape?
Yeah, Shop Pay we turned into a component. And so we wanted to do that because we saw so much power coming from Shop Pay. It's the highest converting one-click checkout in the internet today. It's the purple button that no one knows is Shopify. So that's another one my wife continues to remind me is each time she goes through a customer journey on one of the sites, these guys don't have Shop yet. Can you please help me get it? So I have my laundry list of ones that I need to go work on. But we really wanted to make Shop available to everyone, whether you're on Shopify today or not. We have a third-party study that came out from a big 3 consulting firm that said just the sheer presence of the Shop button drives up conversion rate across websites. So we wanted to make it available to all of those who wanted it, regardless of whether they're full stack or headless or composability was with us today. And it's turned out pretty well so far.
And another thing I keep reading about at the moment is one of the biggest challenges for enterprise retailers is striking that balance between customization and standardization. So how is Shopify offering that ability to customize while also providing a scalable solution that ensures reliability? Because it's quite a tricky balance, I would imagine.
It is. This is one I think has gone through a bit of a hype cycle. There's been a few of them in commerce that I've observed. The first one was kind of this notion of everything's moving from on-prem to cloud. Then we talked about headless as the next big thing. And I think, composability is another one that has gone through a hype cycle. I think it's been, required in some places, but maybe a little over communicated in others. And at the end of the day, this is what I have found. Composable comes in a variety of different flavors. You have a 1,000-piece Lego set with no instructions. That's the extreme version that we've seen in the marketplace from some of our competitors. And if you have a huge dev team, 50, 100 people that can build and put together those Legos in a unique way, and you have clarity of exactly what you want it to look like, that could be a great solution, but it tends to be a bit on the extreme. We took a little bit of a different approach to composability. We took what we know about the volume that runs through our platform today and how to optimize for performance, and clustered that 1,000-piece Lego set into 20 or so different components that you can still plug in interchangeably, but they're built with intentionality to perform a particular type of service or drive a particular outcome. We think that's a better approach and still provides the tremendous flexibility that most of our enterprise clients are looking for. When Indigo reached out after a ransomware attack, its website was down. It was back online with us within 3 days. So we can take composable and deploy it with speed, or we can go full stack and build a front end pretty quickly to help meet customers' needs. So it really doesn't matter which of those 3 you go with. Speed of execution and on time is one of the things we probably do the best.
And you mentioned hype cycle a few moments ago. And of course, at the very beginning of 2023, many businesses and retailers were completely blindsided by the speed in which everyone adopted AI, or Gen AI in particular. There's now only 3 months left of 2023, but can you elaborate on how Shopify is also using AI and data analytics to solve some of the enterprise retailers' most pressing problems this year and beyond, and also things like personalization or supply chain optimization, because they're all such huge topics right now, aren't they?
They are. I mean, I don't think you can go into a room or have a conversation anywhere without talking about AI. AI has been, it's always been at the forefront, but I think ChatGPT has really brought it to life and made it more visible to the rest of the world. For us, we're heading into what we believe is a decade of high velocity and massive change that will be drawn to AI. And at Shopify, we're adopting a kind of a new paradigm of unblocking its unprecedented capabilities. I think some organizations have dedicated teams in a corner someplace that work with AI, and they develop and focus on it. And that's the only group within an organization that actually touches it. At Shopify, we've deployed it really across all of our teams and encouraged each one of our individuals to move from, whether you're an individual seller or a product development person, now you're a manager because you have this AI co-pilot with you side by side, helping you do your job every single day. For us at Shopify, we're doing this for our customers through something called Shopify Magic. And it's a suite of AI-enabled features and services across our platform that's specifically designed to help our customers optimize for running a small business, running a mid-sized business, or running their enterprise. We believe that every business owner, regardless of the size, is a hero, and every hero needs a sidekick. I didn't come up with that, but I really like it. And, we believe that having that AI sidekick with you along the way to help you make better choices, learn from what we see across our platform on what are the trends in the industry? What do we see in terms of pricing? Should you be adjusting up or down? How do you file your taxes and manage your accounting? Are there things that you should be doing there? It's all sorts of things that we're going to build into the sidekick that will really be an expert advisor sitting at your hip, helping you make the right decisions for your business.
And I've been doing this for years now, 2,600 interviews. And for as long as I can remember, Shopify has always been pushing the envelope of headless commerce and leading the way with technology. And I've got to ask, for any traditional retailer that might be listening, what is the business value in adopting a headless commerce architecture? And are there any hurdles that they should be aware of before they dip their toes in those waters?
The thing we see with headless continues to be, and from what I'm seeing in the marketplace, the main primary go. Yeah. When you think about those three solutions I just outlined, headless is the one that most companies tend to default to. There's an intrigue around composability, and in some cases, composable is the right fit. But often in the conversations, what we're really hearing is, I need to be able to control the front end experience that I put in front of my customers. What I don't want to do is I don't want to run all of the back end. We're seeing a pretty big pivot in the marketplace where the amount of dev resources and engineers that are available to maintain and manage a commerce platform have grown over the years, especially if you're not with Shopify. In many cases, you're running fairly large teams just to keep the lights on. And in a world where we're seeing OpEx compression in the marketplace, the ability to take those resources and put them in places where they're not just maintaining something, but they're out innovating and building something new that creates differentiation for their customers in the market, that's where we see most CTOs trying to pivot their resources. So that scarcity of resources is causing more and more people to say, you know what, this composable thing I like, but man, that takes a lot. Going with somebody else, not Shopify, has a pretty high total cost of ownership because of it. And maybe there's an opportunity here to do something better like headless. So headless continues to be, from what we've seen, the number one choice of the three choices that we offer to our customers.
And as this is a tech podcast, if we look under the hood at the technology that makes your global infrastructure possible or brings it all to life, you have over 150 network edge points of presence. Mm-hmm. And Shopify's infrastructure has been designed for a global market, of course. So how does this unique infrastructure solve things like latency issues that often plague online retail?
Yeah, as our CEO and founder recently put it, latency is pollution. I've never heard it that way before, but I really liked it. And at the end of the day, you have to be able to squeeze latency out of everything that you do. It drives down your SEO performance. It drives down your conversion as you move from page through checkout all the way through the end of your experience. So we focused very much on making sure that Shopify's infrastructure effectively mitigates latency issues. Some of it's based on the number of nodes that we have around the world. You just mentioned 150. Some of it's in the engineering and design that we put into place with latency at the forefront of kind of how we think about our infrastructure. And at the end of the day, it's one of the big drivers of why our conversion rate continues to outpace the competition. I mentioned earlier that third party that did a recent study, 1 billion different data points across roughly 200,000 different shops. And the conversion impact we see versus the competition is up as high as 36% higher on Shopify and the average being 15% across all platforms. I won't name the names of those competitors, but we talk to customers all the time that are with them. And when they see the conversion impact, with latency being a big part of the reason why that conversion is so much better on Shopify, we end up seeing many of them make the move and come over.
And if we go back a couple of years during the lockdown period of the pandemic, I think it shifted consumer behaviour and expectations considerably. And here in the UK, there's a store called Primark, and I think it went from 650 million in revenue each month to zero because they had to close all their stores and they had no online presence. So I'm curious, a couple of years later, how is Shopify enabling enterprise retailers to quickly adapt to these changes without compromising on customer experience? Because again, another big balance, right?
Yeah, Shopify has a strong track record of putting retailers first and on the right side of change. We, whether you're Gymshark or Allbirds or Mattel or some of the conversations that we've had with quality brands, like we've done a lot of work with these brands, helping them grow. And our team in the background, we actually, their titles are merchant success managers, and they wake up every day gold on one thing, just helping our customers win. So we'll sit down and do audits every quarter of their commerce platform. How are they performing at each stage of the customer journey? What are the trends that we see across other platforms? And when we come to the table each quarter, we're bringing recommendations on things that help optimize for performance. So we're kind of an extension of our enterprise clients' commercial teams with the same goals that they have. And at the end of the day, we're trying to help them ultimately reach their business objectives, whatever they may be. The other thing we do pretty well, and I think is unique to Shopify, is our Rolodex is our customers' Rolodex. So if you want to spend time with Supreme and understand how they think about just-in-time launches, what I call kind of these burstable moments, or you want to spend time and hear how Mattel is using token gating in the metaverse to create unique experiences, or even some of our celebrities who have brands with us. Drake, we just did a pretty interesting thing with where we were putting QR codes out on for special drops, gated drops for particular events, and we could beam that QR code up to 2 kilometers away and put it on a tower that basically was, scan here and get a particular offering. There's a lot of disruption that's happening and creative approaches to engaging with customers in unique and dynamic ways that I think is one of the superpowers, is we can make those connections for our enterprise clients and make sure that they can, share ideas with each other.
And of course, we are approaching silly season. It's only a few weeks until our inboxes are bombarded with Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. And considering the rapid technological advancements and combined with the changing consumer behaviours, I'm curious, what does the future hold for retail in general, do you think? And a lot of eyes are going to be on this holiday season. And also, how are you at Shopify positioning yourselves in this new era of retail too? Because there's so much happening, isn't there?
There is, Black Friday, Cyber Monday seems to come so much faster each year. I think it's just because I'm getting older. As I tell my kids, time just flies by. But we see enterprise clients of all sizes really getting prepared right now. The first is they're going out and seeking capital in the market. How can they make sure that inventory is up to speed? They've got their contacts set up. They've already got their promotional offers queued into their commerce stack. More and more, as we've come out of the pandemic, it's omni-channel. So making sure that those experiences are stitched together, not just in their web assets, where they'll have preferential offerings because of CAC, but they'll also have them in store. And, in our recent launch of Editions, we showcased over 100 new products that we put into the market in anticipation of some of these needs, omni-channel in particular. Some new capabilities around just the admin and the ease of use of the admin across and a variety of other tools, Marketplace Connect, which just launched in the UK. Like, there's so many of these that we put into market, and all of them were just in time for holiday shopping. So we think our merchants are set up for an amazing year. We tend to outperform the marketplace. Our customers tend to outperform. Part of it's that conversion benefit that we talked about. But the other part is we really do engineer hopefully, if we do it right, ahead of our customers' needs. And that showcases itself normally during the next, the 4 or 5 day holiday shopping weekend.
Well, I've loved talking with you today about Shopify, the journey that you've been on and where you're heading to in the future and helping reshape e-commerce there. But one of the things I always try and do at the end of the podcast is find out a little bit more about the person or the people that are running the show here. And you've had a hugely successful career, but of course, none of us are able to achieve any degree of success without a little help along the way. So I'm curious, is there a particular person that you're grateful towards who maybe helped get you where you are, maybe saw something in you, invested a little time in you? Who would that person be? Maybe we'll give them a little shout out today.
Oh my gosh, there are so many people that invested and helped correct. My wife, I should probably give her some credit for that as well. But there's a couple that really come to mind, and two in particular. Marnie Walden taught me the art of leadership and casting the shadow and getting your hands dirty at the front. And Jean-Philippe Courtois out of Paris for Microsoft, probably the best go-to-market leader I've ever had a chance to work with. And I'm not sure if Jean-Philippe will listen to this, but I'm a student of his teaching, whether he knows it still or not. And he's got a great podcast, Positive Leadership, that he puts out. It's fantastic. If you get a chance, I think it's a 101 must-have for every commercial leader that's out there.
Fantastic. Well, I'll give a little shout out to Jean-Philippe there. Hopefully he will listen. And for anyone listening that just wants to find out more about how you're helping enterprises, about Shopify, and anything we talked about today, where would you like to point everyone listening?
I would give you my phone number, but let's just go with LinkedIn for now. LinkedIn's a great way to reach out. I'm pretty responsive. So if there's anyone who wants to chat, I'd love to have that conversation. Ping me on LinkedIn. We'll catch up.
Well, as I said at the very beginning of the episode, enterprise retailers are struggling to keep pace with how quickly technology is evolving and those increased customer expectations. But Shopify is pushing for a new era of retail, one where it's possible to build with choice and flexibility while tapping into unmatched scale. But as this is a tech podcast, I love how you're staying at the cutting edge of innovation in everything from AI to headless commerce. And latency is a huge problem. And I loved a line you used a few moments ago. Latency is pollution. And I love how you're overcoming that. But more than anything, thank you for sharing that, your story, and the Jean-Philippe, of course. Thanks for sharing everything today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Neil.
Well, that was a tour de force of insights into the evolving world of enterprise retail and the technology behind it all. So a big thank you to Bobby Morrison, CRO at Shopify, for sharing his expert viewpoints on how retailers can stay agile, innovative, and customer-focused in this rapidly changing environment. And I was also fascinated to learn more about the era of retail that Shopify envisions, one built on choice, flexibility, and unmatched scale, clearly holding promise for businesses seeking to rise above the challenges in today's market. But we did cover a plethora of issues today, from the revolutionary shop pay to how global scale meets local customization, a balance that is nothing short of a almost technological ballet in today's interconnected world. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything that we spoke about. Did we miss something? Do you have a question? Would you like to come on here and talk about something else in the industry? Whatever it is, I invite you to email me directly, techblogwriter@outlook.com. You can connect with me on social channels from LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram at Neil C. Hughes. Nice and easy to find there. If you'd like to work with me, if you want to launch your own podcast like this one, just record an interview, let me worry about everything else. Or you need help with business blogs, articles, ghostwritten content, whatever it might be, my website is techblogwriter.co.uk, where you will find more than 2,500 interviews on there. But that's it for today. So thanks for joining me here on Tech Talks Daily. I am committed to bringing you conversations that are not only technologically illuminating, but universally understandable. So hopefully you'll join me again tomorrow. But thank you for listening as always. And until next time, don't be a stranger.